YouTube shave fans, super curve honing fans, type 2 diabetes rescued by keto fans, and carnivore eating fans. This is Bill here. Today is the 21st of September, 2024. I'm going to do a shave with some different stuff that I've never really used. Some of it I may have used, but it's a little bit different. First of all, I am going to be using, let me tell you about the soap and the brush, okay? Once upon a time, I won this in a raffle at a shave forum that I used to hang out at before things got hostile there. Anyhow, this is a thing. Now, Burma-Shave was a brushless cream, okay? Which is, I find this odd, with a brush and a mug and all that kind of stuff. Was a brushless cream, early 1900s, okay? And it was, and I have seen one person, okay, so this is from history. I have seen one person who actually got some of this stuff, a gentleman who's on YouTube, Dave in Kentucky or Dave in KY. Okay, he's a very knowledgeable guy with a lot of vintage type stuff. His thing is vintage, mostly safety razors, and do look him up if that sort of thing is your fancy. But he actually had a jar of the original Burma-Shave shaving cream, and it was just a cream that you would dig out of a jar and rub on your face, or you would put it, there was a tube, which reminds me, when I got into the printing ink business, I remember being at the main manufacturing facility, and they had one or two customers that were in that northern New Jersey metro, New York metro area that still manufactured different little tubes of stuff, okay? And, okay, so I'm going to illustrate with this, okay? At one time, tubes of medicine or whatever, the tube was actually, believe it or not, was lead. and they were open, so if you can envision this, okay, there's an open tube, and you would make an ink and you would print on it, and you have a printing press that has these little spindles and it moves these things around, and we would make inks for that would stick to this lead. Now, I imagine there may have been some sort of a primer on there, but the good thing about lead was when you fill it, then you would crimp it, okay, and it was easy to crimp, okay, and it would easily seal, unlike this where this is some sort of heat seal. But anyhow, Burma-Shave did come in one of those tubes, okay? I've seen that. I've not seen one. I imagine you can look around on eBay if you're interested in, for whatever reason, Burma-Shave, okay? Burma-Shave also, I'm guessing it was, I think I saw commercials from the 50s where there was a, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lather. This stuff came with a mug and a brush before they used plastic pigs, okay? So, and I have never used this. It's been used, but I have never used this. Not the brush, not the soap. So this is the first time for me. But those kits like that, okay, after the 50s era where Burma-Shave made still a brushless cream, but it was like one of these aerosol foam type things. So I remember seeing commercials for that. And then at this area, let's see if there's a date on there. I don't see a date, okay, but the brand name, okay, and you can see it here on this tin, okay. I don't know if you can read that on the tin, okay, but it is American Safety Razor Company, which is Persona, okay, and all the stuff was made in China. Okay, and it came with this little book that tells you about Burma-Shave and has the little signs that were found along the road and the history of that marketing style. So I did see somebody use, and I don't recall it being any spectacular shave. You know, you're using a 100-year-old jar of goo to shave with. I don't know how spectacular that can be. This does lather up pretty good. I'm guessing this is probably similar to, I'm guessing it was probably made in the 90s, I think, is when this came out. It does seem to lather up pretty good. I don't know how it'll perform. We'll see. I did use the Rich Man's Pre-Shave, the Proraso. And I did soak that soap with a little bit of water first. People say you don't need to do that, and I did soak this brush. Okay, this is, you know, I have one boar brush. It's like all I really thought I needed. Okay, I'll probably get another one if I have another opportunity to get one of those ones like Leon has, and I think Grey Gallant has a different thing, but one of those really, really big Zenith boar brushes. And what caused me to think about this was one of my older, not real old, but one of my older YouTube videos where I used I think I used a Holy Cow fougere that is very close to Brute, and I think I said something like that, and he came in response, you know, here weeks later or whatever. I still get him, and I get a response. I'll usually respond to that. And he said, have you tried A2? Which, yes, I have, which is a PAA, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements type thing, although they don't have the range of scents available all the time like they used to, but they do have some different stuffs. And I mean, I've used the A2 when they were making that, the shampoo, the bath soap, the Star Jelly. I still have the Star Jelly. I still have the aftershaves. I have a backup on the aftershave and the soap, and I did like it because it's if you're a fan of Brute, it really is nice if you like that. So I'm thinking I need just a little bit more water on this. Made me think. I'm kind of seeing a bristle. I guess this is a shed, and I don't know if this has ever been used. You know, it's evidently a cheap pig brush. Okay, but it does the job. Okay, so what drew me to that is I looked at that and I went looking and I think I used shave talcum on that shave, and he said that there is an A2 talc, and I went to look. And unfortunately, the powders that come from PAA are talc-free, which I probably, you know, if they had an A2, I might get it to try it. I don't know that I would use it or not. Or I don't know if I'd like it or not. But when I looked, they have a scent that is an homage to Burma-Shave. And I don't smell anything in this. This puck has been sitting out, and it had been open. It had been used before, so there's just no scent left to that at all. Okay, but that's what made me think. I saw that homage to Burma-Shave scent, and that's what made me think about this. And I thought I ought to try that sometime. So, and on another similar type thing that. You see things, you think, I haven't used that, I'm going to use that. Okay, I have a couple of razors made by Earn and the companies that make them, Crown and Sword. This was one, okay. This is a pretty nice, I forget how much I paid for this. It was not a lot, okay. I got this from a guy who's at Straight Razor Place, the real Straight Razor Place, not the stolen Razor Palace or the squatter's Razor Palace. This is a guy, and he's still around. I don't know if he still buys these things, but he bought this and he had this for sale, and I thought this was just a really, really good example of this. It has the spine work, it has jimps on the top and the bottom, okay, as you can see, urn on there, and it has the Crown and Sword logo on the back. This is a number 32, whatever that means, and walled Solgen, and in here there's a little bit of, in the description says Germany. I just really like this. It was in pretty good shape. I honed it up in the way I normally do, and I just haven't used it for a while. One thing I don't like about this is it has these like really, really floppy scales, okay? And I looked and I tried to repin those, and this was an interesting one. Unlike this end where there's like a washer on there, there is no washer on this end. This pinning is mushroomed right down into the scale. And now I'm guessing this is not, it might be, I don't know. What is this, a real tortoise shell? I don't know how you tell, but it might be plastic. There are some little bends in it and that kind of stuff. I just did not want to try, and because this is somewhat unique, 3 pins, and it has the inlay, I did not want to fool with this. So I put up with the floppy scales. I tried to tighten it, okay, and I could send it to somebody who would probably go in there with like a jeweler's saw and cut this and take it out and repin it. I just like it for the way it is right now. And I'm not that interested in having everything be totally flawless. So let's see how this, I'm pretty sure how this will shave. I don't have quite as much by the way of whiskers. Picking up a lot of hairs from that brush. The soap is, I feel it's a little dry, okay? It doesn't have, in my mind, the slipperiness that I would normally like. It's adequate. Speaking of soap, I don't know, but this made me look around into some of the older traditional soaps, and I think I have. I might have a puck of Williams around. I don't know what the era was, but Williams was known from this era to be like just a super performing economical soap to have. And in looking at that, I found out something I did not know. You keep seeing all these boar bristles coming out. I did not know that I think the Williams company, J.B. Williams, I think it was, that ultimately came out with Aqua Velva and Williams soap. I did not know that they made the original Ivory soap, okay, which under their name, they marketed, before they sold it to, I think they sold to Procter & Gamble. where Procter & Gamble, many of you who are my contemporaries may remember the Ivory soap and it floated and yada yada. I remember growing up using that, and I always thought it kind of dried your skin out. But it was an interesting soap, and it had a unique smell to it. And I remember some hard soaps like this one would have that same type of scent. So I don't know if Williams made this or not, okay? But that's all gone. And even Ivory soap, you can still get Ivory soap, the Procter & Gamble Ivory soap, but it doesn't float anymore. It's not the same. The formula has changed or whatever. And I think I said it doesn't float. I recall in I think it was in art class. I cannot remember if it was in grade school or middle school, but there was a project where everybody would bring in a bar of Ivory soap because it was soft, and they would give you like these engraving tools, giving sharp tools to kids. How are we still alive? So, and you would engrave different things. It was an art type thing to see if there was a natural sculpting talent in you. So if you find a prodigy sculptor by somebody who carves a boat out of a bar of Ivory soap, you might have something on your hands. Anyhow, I'd often thought about Ivory soap, and I think they changed the formula. It wasn't. I think that was somewhere after 2000 that in fact happened. I read about but just pulling this soap out and thinking about it, looking into history, it made me think of you see the phone shake? Gonna do something, clean them suction cups maybe. I'm using Tentacle, what it's called. It was given to me by great gentleman Glenn, a luxury shaving hobbyist. It is it's what he uses. I like it because it stays close to the mirror there. I don't like to try and shave. A lot of guys try to shave out of their if you're videoing with your telephone. I'm not had too much luck with that. Yeah. Well, I've seen other guys that have had this and they've used this, and um, a common comment in there is that it seemed to lack some slickness, or was a little dry, or would dry easy. I'm getting that. It's still an acceptable thing. I think as far as hard soaps go, I do like them. Probably, I have some Marco. I actually like Derby. As far as a hard soap goes, I mean, I'll use anything. I got so much stuff. I'll never live long enough to use it. And even if I did live that long, I'm sure I'd run out of money. So putting water on it, I should have done that the other time. It does feel some slippery to it. And I'm going for the third pass. So I may use this soap again in the mug. Mostly what I wanted that kit for was the mug. I've seen the whole things on eBay if you're interested in having one of those Burma-Shave mugs. All these brushes. This is just a very inexpensive brush. For the Burma-Shave brushless cream. Wow, that's kind of interesting. I'm looking at this, and there's the gold decor right here, and just looking at as I had it sitting down, I see like a gold here on the tang. I'm wondering if there was a decorative gold on the flat side. I don't really know. I haven't worked to date this. So that term reminds me. I'm trying to date this Earn straight razor. So the response is, well, if you want to date the razor, send it a card with some flowers. And that's a common thing that people do to try and find things from shave history, particularly with Gillette. Gillette has made so many different types of razors. The same razor will be different if it's made in Canada, from the US, from the UK. And there would be subtle differences between them. And I've watched people who as part of their interest, their collection, they would collect these things and catalog them. And you know, there's a few guys around that just have really, really terrific historic collections of some of those things. Straight razor guys too. It's, you know, if you're a collector of antiquities. It is nice to have a piece of something and then have a story to go with it. And I am gonna freshen up the soap on for the Fool's Pass. So if you're finding me and you have not started into straight razor shaving, if you're considering it, number of ways you can go through. Probably get into it. Go with older vintage stuff is a good way to go. I got that for the guy buys these, he gets bargains on them. And he kind of refurbishes them as part of his hobby. I forgot my alum again. Excuse me a minute. So he does these as part of his hobby, and then what he does is he resells them for what he has into it. He donates the work for free, okay? And then he says, I just need you to cover me for a tank of gas for my Harley. What a great guy to have. To help people get into straight razor shaving. So, and it's probably a far better way to go if you could get something like that. He would hone that for you. Okay, he's a reasonably good honer. Most people that hone, you like to hone your own stuff. So once you learn to do it, you usually learn to do things your way, the way that you like. But to get a beautiful shave piece like that shaves and the manufacturer that I had a couple of comments back and forth. Greg had an urn that he was honing up for somebody. Really nice looking one. And it's like, okay, so you can kind of see, I mean, these things are just really got a really thin grind on them. Because this guy, Friedrich Ernst, he was the guy who developed the double wheel grinder where they ground the hollows out on both sides. So, and one of these things, always remember this thing, especially if it has a little bit of a loose scale, when you close that, always grab by the toe and guide the razor in as you fold that. Because this one will hit, okay, and you'll get some dulling with that. So, if you saw the picture, okay, another little thing from history, okay, I don't have anything in this bottle because it had a leak in it, but somebody gave me this. I haven't seen a whole lot of people using it online. I know, I think that Leon has a whole lot of Panad aftershaves, and I don't know if he has this one or not. This one is one that's kind of controversial where people say it smells like cat pee, and a lot of people don't like the regular conventional, I haven't seen this in the drugstore. I've seen the regular Clubman. Okay, and I think one of the things with the offensive aroma on some of these may be because both of these have, as part of their ingredients, they both have benzyl alcohol, which is a slower alcohol. And I think there's some of the smell comes from that. And since they've gone to plastic from the glass, that could affect it. I just happen to have to put it into another jar. So, and the common thing is with the veg, as they call it. Okay, are you chosen or are you not chosen? And usually it's like the middle ground. Okay, I think I'm middle ground because I don't necessarily like this, but I don't dislike it. To me, it has a dry down and a powdery type smell. There is something strong in there, and I could see people not liking it. So I see both sides. I'll find out what my wife thinks of it a little later on today. See if she doesn't like it. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply a little bit of powder. So in the news, along with giving kids tools to carve up ivory soap, I had to think. Oprah made a last-ditch effort to try and urge, and I'm a Democrat, okay? So she tried to help us out to try and make one last-ditch effort to urge our candidate for president to act a little bit presidential, okay? And then the subject of gun came up. So the subject of gun ownership, and she proudly says, me and whatever this nuthead that we chose for the vice president, we have guns, okay? And then she says, break into my house and you're going to get shot, okay? And it's like, now. I just thought, even being a Democrat and thinking she's the greatest thing since sliced bread and all that kind of stuff, somehow that just, if somebody's in your house, and if you went to the effort to if you're a gun person and you went to an effort to get a gun, and you went to the effort to learn how to use it safely and handle it safely and effectively, and you took the time to practice with it, so in the gravest extreme, okay, you would have to defend your house. Okay, so somebody breaks into my house, if they want my TV, they can have the damn TV. Okay, because I would just hate to be in the position to have to take another person's life. Okay, but if my life was indeed threatened, it would be, I believe, a human right to defend yourself. But that doesn't mean break into my house and you're going to get shot. It's like that is maybe one of the most irresponsible things that we, the Democrats, and it's why the Democratic Party, we the Democrats, we don't want people like that to have guns. Okay, so because as exemplified, Democrats are usually very irresponsible when you give them a gun. Like they shoot the president or the former president, and and I think the last bunch of school shooters were all Democrats and stuff like that. So my apology for my party's candidate, which everybody voted. No, we didn't vote for her. Something happened to the democratic process in there, our democracy there. But anyhow, our candidate, I'm going to apologize for her misstepping. And Oprah, you got to do a little bit better the next time, to help us out here. So this is Bill. Hope everybody enjoyed my little smart ass comments along the way. And you enjoyed the shave with some vintage type stuff. So hope everybody has a great week. This is Bill out. Bye.